You've probably gotten that look, the slight eye roll when you mention you're gluten-free, like it's a personality trait, a wellness trend, or something you picked up from a podcast. Here's what that eye roll gets wrong. If you have Hashimoto's, gluten isn't a dietary preference. It's immunological TNT. This has nothing to do with diet culture, carb phobia, or what's trending on Instagram. It's about what's actually happening inside your immune system every single time you eat. And what is it doing to your thyroid and your brain that nobody is connecting the dots on? If you're someone who has Hashimoto's or suspects your thyroid is involved in why you're exhausted, foggy, gaining weight, and being told your labs are normal, this channel is built for you. We break down the real science behind hormones, autoimmunity, and what it actually takes to feel like yourself again. Let's get into the part doctors skip entirely. Most people, including a lot of physicians, don't know that gluten and thyroid tissue look nearly identical to your immune system. Gluten contains amino acid sequences that structurally resemble the proteins in your thyroid gland. When your immune system mounts a reaction to gluten, it can misidentify your thyroid as the same threat. This process has a name, molecular mimicry, and it's not a fringe theory. It's documented immune science. Every time your immune system fires at gluten, it may be pulling your thyroid into the crossfire at the same time. This is why going gluten-free for someone with Hashimoto's isn't restriction. It's removing fuel from an already active fire. The inflammation isn't just in your gut, it's circulating systemically, and your thyroid is one of the primary targets. But here's where it gets more personal, because not everyone reacts the same way, and there's a genetic reason why some people are far more vulnerable than others. There are specific genes that make your immune system dramatically more reactive to gluten. And if you have Hashimoto's, the odds are high you're carrying at least one of them. These are called HLA-DQ variants, a class of immune regulating genes that influence how your body recognizes and responds to foreign proteins. The variants most associated with Hashimoto's and gluten reactivity are HLA-DQ2, DQ8, DQ1, and DQ4. These aren't rare mutations, they're common genetic patterns found in a large portion of people with autoimmune thyroid disease. You've never been tested for these. That's not unusual. Most standard care doesn't include them. What this means for people with these variants is that gluten isn't a mild irritant. It's an active immune trigger that can sustain low-grade autoimmune activity for days after exposure. The "I'll just have a little bit" logic doesn't hold when your genes are wired to treat that little amount like a full-scale invasion. And if you think this is just a gut issue, a little bloating, some digestive discomfort, what comes next will change how you understand your symptoms entirely. Before we go further, if you've been told you're too young or not old enough to have a hormone problem, I put together something specifically to contradict that. It's called the Hormone Confusion Fix, and it breaks down the most common myths that keep people stuck in the wrong diagnosis for years. The link is in the description. Grab it before you forget. The most overlooked part of gluten sensitivity in Hashimoto's has nothing to do with digestion. It's neurological. Gluten antibodies in some Hashimoto's patients cross-react with the cerebellum, the region of the brain responsible for balance, coordination, and cognitive processing. This is a documented phenomenon called gluten ataxia, and it explains a cluster of symptoms that often get dismissed as stress, anxiety, aging, brain fog so thick you can't find the word you're looking for mid-sentence, dizziness that comes and goes without a clear trigger, motion sensitivity that seems to be getting worse over time. Mood instability that doesn't match your circumstances. These aren't random. They're a neurological pattern that shows up repeatedly in people with both Hashimoto's and gluten reactivity. When someone tells you it's all in your head, they're accidentally more right than they know. So, knowing all of this, the immune cascade, the genetic wiring, the brain involvement, the obvious question becomes whether any amount of gluten is worth the cost. There's a version of this conversation that tries to make it gentle, and then there's the honest version. Saying goodbye to sourdough and weekend pizza is genuinely hard, and minimizing that doesn't help anyone. But the calculation changes when you understand what's actually happening. Gluten isn't just causing bloating, it's accelerating thyroid tissue destruction and degrading neurological function. One exposure doesn't just mean a bad afternoon for many people with Hashimoto's. A single gluten exposure can trigger an immune response that runs for 3 to 4 weeks. That's not a cheat day. That's a month of setback in a body that's already fighting upstream. For some people who have been in a sustained remission for years, small reintroductions may eventually be tolerable. But that's the exception, not the starting point. Total avoidance isn't about perfection or rigidity, it's about giving your immune system the one thing it needs most: a reason to stand down. This is foundational, not optional, for most people managing Hashimoto's. Removing gluten isn't the finish line, it's the foundation that makes everything else you do for your thyroid actually work. Going gluten free isn't about restriction, it's about removing the match from the room before the gasoline catches. When you take away one of the most consistent immune triggers for Hashimoto's, the whole system gets a chance to recalibrate. Less antibody activity, less neurological interference, less inflammation. Pulling your thyroid and your energy apart, that's not a diet trend. That's a biological reset. If you've been struggling with brain symptoms, the fog, the mood swings, the balance issues, and you didn't know any of this was connected, there's a lot more to understand about Hashimoto's and how it affects the brain. That's exactly where we're going next. And what you find there is going to reframe your symptoms you've probably been blaming on stress or sleep for years. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment. I read every one. Now you know what gluten is doing to your immune system and your brain. You're going to want to know exactly how Hashimoto's hijacks your cognition, your balance, and mood from the inside. Click the video on the screen, and I'll show you right now.